Okay, I think we're live here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Let's see if we are in sync. We are covering the Epstein files, revealing who's Satoshi and the war and the suppression on Ripple. What I'm going to check now is if we are still in sync or if we're not. So bear with me and then we can continue with the story. So stay with me for just 1 second. Let me see if I can listen and let me know in the chat, are we in sync or are we not? Let me copy that chat. Are we good or are we not? Let me know in the chat. Let me listen in. I think we're good. In sync, in sync, in sync. We're good, we're good, we're good. Okay. I messed up on the stream. We accidentally did the wrong stream. So please can you hit the like button to make sure everyone finds their way into this stream here. If you have just tuned in, we are we are reading about and uncovering a story about Epstein and Satoshi. We are all good. We're back. Guys, it's 1 a.m. here in the UK. Goodness, I don't even know how I'm going to do my morning newsletter at this point. And also, we've got a newsletter about copper coming out tomorrow as well. Full weekend of research on Epstein, copper, and all sorts. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, Lou said nice background. Yeah, so essentially what happened was I used to stream in the spare bedroom in our house, and then we're expecting our first child. So that came around, and I got kicked out of the house, and now here I am in the shed. So I'm glad you enjoyed the background. We're back. We're good. Let's continue with the stream. That's a bit of background for the for the viewers. We're all good. Thanks, everyone. Hello, Yolanda. Hello, Fitty. Hello, David Hensley. Hello, Nick Jones. Hello, Daphne. Hello, Stage Your Life is here as well. Lovely to have you here. Stage Your Life. Relax, in sync. We're in sync. We're good. We're good. Lou is here saying we are good. We're good. Congrats, mate. Okay. Thank you very much. Only a few months left now. The War on Ripple and the Epstein files. Where were we? We were about to start part 3. We just wrapped up part 2. So let's start part 3. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at the Epstein files. We've just done part 2. So if you haven't watched part 2, there will be a playlist in the description. Start from part 1, part 2. We looked at who Satoshi is and the crazy links there and why I'm not too bullish on Bitcoin. But I still hold it as a small hedge. But I prefer XRP, and what we're going to do now is that massive war on Ripple. How that started. We're looking at these people here, Jeffrey Epstein, having direct links to Gary Gensler, who started that attack on Ripple. We're looking at Elon Musk getting involved and Ripple CTO David Schwartz. So let's get on to that part of the story where we discover the big suppression that was there. We've already covered David Schwartz and the Stellar is not so stellar. That was in part 1 about them trying to get rid of Ripple and Stellar. Then we looked at Jeffrey Epstein saying something very strange that might link him directly to the founders of Bitcoin. And then now we talked about Zcash and the founders there talking to Jeffrey Epstein. What we're going to do now is look at Bitcoin versus XRP, a war in the email. So let's get straight into it. If you have just discovered this channel, please hit the like button and subscribe. Go check out the newsletter. First link in the description. We're currently running 25% off. Bitcoin versus XRP, a war in the emails. So here is when it starts getting more interesting, if you can believe it or not. The Austin Hill email isn't just about historical curiosity. It's evidence of something the XRP community has long suspected. That powerful figures in the Bitcoin ecosystem actively work to undermine Ripple and Stellar. We always have heard this from the Bitcoin community, whether it's Bitcoin maximalists that are just reiterating what the main Bitcoin maximalists are saying. There's always been a Bitcoin maximalist hating on Ripple, XRP, in support of the lawsuit that was undermining the whole crypto industry and also America's right to lead in the cryptocurrency world. They were cheering Gary Gensler on about this lawsuit that was completely unjustified and that they lost. So, I mean, there's big, powerful players in play with all of this. So, Schwartz explained that this directly when followers asked him what Hill meant. So, this is in regards to the initial email we looked at, part one. So, he said, the sad part is, and this is David Schwartz, former CTO of Ripple. The sad part is, we are really all in this together, and this kind of attitude hurts everyone in the space. We don't like any sort of maximalists. We want the crypto space to evolve. And this kind of attitude hurts everyone in the space. And what does he? And then someone asked him, what do you mean by backing two horses in the same race? He meant that because he felt Ripple and Stellar were bad for the ecosystem, anyone who supported XRP or XLM was an opponent, an enemy, and he wanted to suppress it. This is directly from Jeffrey Epstein and his affiliates. And then someone asked him, where did this documentation? Because if it made the SEC, who cares? Or if the best investor in the world, who cares? So where did this documentation, and why do we care about these documentation? I don't understand. Someone asked that, and David Schwartz replied, this is an email from Austin Hill to Jeffrey Epstein explaining that Hill felt that the support for Ripple or Stellar made someone an enemy/opponent. It seems quite likely that Hill and others express similar views to other people. So let's let that sink in. In 2014, the CEO of Blockstream, this is directly in the emails that came out from Jeffrey Epstein's a couple of days ago now, or maybe one day ago, the single most influential Bitcoin infrastructure company at the time. So in 2014, the CEO of Blockstream, a Bitcoin company, the single most influential Bitcoin infrastructure company, was actively lobbying some of the wealthiest and most connected people on the planet, including a convicted sex offender, to cut off funding and support for Ripple and Stellar. And Schwartz himself believes that it wasn't an isolated instance. As he put it, it's quite likely that Hill and others expressed similar views to many other people. There was an active group of people that were talking to the people at the highest powers. These were Bitcoin maximalists, Bitcoin companies that wanted complete suppression, complete elimination of XRP and Stellar. Crazy. This is the ecosystem politics of 2014 laid bare. Bitcoin maximalists, those who believe Bitcoin should only exist, that's what a Bitcoin maximalist is, viewed Ripple and Stellar as existential threats. I mean, guys, if Bitcoin was the best thing on earth and they had nothing to worry about and they created the best thing, why do they care about suppressing others? Why can't it just be a free market? I thought the whole point of the Western world and the Americas is a free market. Let the public decide what's best, not to actively use money and power to suppress competitors and other projects. But no, they used their power and money to try and suppress it. And they did. They suppressed it for many years. They brought a lawsuit against it. So not because there were scams, XLM, XRP, they're not scams. You might not like them. You might not agree with them. You might not agree with some price targets. I don't agree with a lot of price targets. I don't agree with a lot of views. Every single week in our XRP Weekly, we debunk them. But we don't say that they shouldn't exist. So not because there were scams, but because they offered different vision, fast, cheap cross-border payments through purpose-built infrastructure rather than Bitcoin's only worldview. We've heard all the arguments for Bitcoin. They tried to become a payment solution. I mean, it was created as a payment solution, and they tried to make it with the Lightning Network. It's a complete failure. The Lightning Network is a complete failure. And there's other companies that solve the problem that Bitcoin set out to do. Bitcoin wasn't supposed to be a decentralized, anti-government, sovereign currency. It was supposed to be a peer-to-peer payments network, and it failed to do that. And other companies were like, well, that's a great problem to fix. Let's fix it because Bitcoin can't. And that's Ripple, that's Stellar. And they came and attacked them. So for maximalists, the existence of functional alternatives undermined their narrative, and they used their connections, including apparently connections to Jeffrey Epstein, to fight back. And just how deep were those connections? Well, on February the 1st, Elon Musk himself posted a December 2014 email sent directly from Epstein to his inbox. In it, Epstein casually mentions Reed Hoffman. The same Reid Hoffman CC'd on Hill's anti-Ripple email, the initial email we looked at in the first video, the first part, that he had recently visited Epstein Island and uses that fact to try lure Musk there as well. There's the email, the same person in both. Remember, Hoffman wasn't a peripheral figure in this story. He was copied on the email that called Ripple and Stellar enemies of the Bitcoin ecosystem. He was not visiting Epstein's Island. Sorry, he was visiting Epstein's Island. And he sat at the center of the network that connected crypto's most powerful backers to a convicted sex offender. We're talking about Hoffman here. The question isn't whether these people knew each other, because the files prove they did. The question is what the network was used for. Let's just make a quick correction here. There was a viral post. Some accounts described Austin Hill as an ex-Ripple CTO. That is factually incorrect. Block's own 2016 press release confirmed Hill was the CEO of Blockstream, replaced by Adam Backman. The hash cash. Are we back? What's just happened there? Bear with me. Why? Oh, God, we're having all sorts of issues. I apologize. Bear with me for a second. Why has that happened? There we go. We're back. This is wrong. Blockstream's own 2016 press release confirms Hill was the CEO of Blockstream, replaced by Adam Back. Hill was never affiliated with Ripple. Again, fake stories circulating X, trying to make it seem like Ripple was involved in all of this, and Ripple had no involvement at all with Epstein. It was all people trying to suppress Ripple through Epstein. Hill was never affiliated with Ripple. The misidentification matters because it changes the meaning of the email entirely. This wasn't Ripple insider leaking information. It was a Bitcoin insider waging a campaign against Ripple. So here's the big question where we start getting a bit, we can use our imagination a bit more until we get more documents released. But did this lead to the SEC suing Ripple? Well, more connections here. This is where the story gets speculative, but the timeline is worth examining. The SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple in December of 2020, alleging that XRP was an unregistered security. The case dragged on for nearly 5 years. 5 years of suppression, during which XRP was delisted from major exchanges. Institutional investment dried up, and Ripple's ability to pursue banking partnership in the US was effectively frozen. It was, by any measure, the most damaging regulatory action ever taken against a single cryptocurrency project. We've been through it all. Remember, we went all through all the court documents. We covered the whole case. We were bullish on it. We knew that they were well within the law. Ripple has always been regulation first. A lot of people go, well, it's a banker's coin, it's this, that, and the other. Look, it's a business and it wants to use XRP as its token. It has always gone to regulators first. It's always tried to be on the right side of the law. It's done every single precaution. You can see even now what it's doing. It's going after every regulatory license before it really expands. And the Ripple still, and the SEC still sued it. Major manipulation. So, now consider what Epstein's files show about the network. The people in the 2014 email, Epstein, Hoffman, Ito, were not fringe figures. They sat at the intersect of technology, finance, and political power. Hoffman is one of Silicon Valley's most connected investors. Ito ran MIT's Media Lab. Epstein maintained relationships with regulators, politicians, and intelligent figures across multiple countries. The files don't contain a document showing individuals directing the SEC to sue Ripple. No such evidence has been found. But the email does establish that as early as 2014, there was a coordinated effort by Bitcoin-aligned figures to pressure influential investors and power brokers to turn against Ripple and Stellar. The question the XRP community is now asking is, did that pressure campaign ever extend to regulators like the SEC? The circumstantial timeline is notable. The SEC's action came after years of what Ripple described as a regulatory hostility during the agency's approved Bitcoin ETF applications while blocking XRP related products. Remember, they came out and said Bitcoin is not a security. They came out and approved ETFs for Bitcoin, but they called everything else a security. The case ended in August of 2025 with Ripple paying 125 million penalty, reduced from initial demands, with both sides dropping appeals and XRP being confirmed as not a security on public exchanges. The result came under new SEC leadership following the 2024 election and broader policy shift away from crypto enforcement. Was the SEC case connected to the kind of behind the scenes influence the Hill emails reveals? Well, there's no proof, but there is documentation pattern. Bitcoin's insiders leveraging elite networks to undermine competing projects and regulatory environment that for years appeared to favor Bitcoin and over alternatives like XRP. Whether that's a coincidence or something more is in the question, these files have squarely put on the table. And here is where we look at the Gary Gensler connection. So let's now move on to this. If you are here watching this, please do hit that like button. Make sure you have subscribed as well. It takes one moment. I know most people probably haven't hit the like button yet, so please do that. We're also offering a 25% discount to our very own newsletter. You get the news every single day, the top 5 things. You get the XRP weekly newsletter, 0 ads, 0 distractions, analysis per story, my thoughts on each story, the chart of the day, instant deep dives every single day, detailed breakdowns. You get the weekly access to the XRP newsletter. You get one-on-one DM access with me. You get access to the community. You get the budget and debt planner. You get the chart training course. You get the portfolio challenge. I'm starting with 5,000. Again, it's a journal. It's not alerts. And again, nothing we ever do is financial advice. So go check that out. It's currently 25% off. It's the first link in the description. You can also sign up for free as well. So within hours of Epstein's files dropping, one post cut through the noise and connected a dot that stopped the XRP community cold. Crypto Law, the account run by attorney John Deaton, one of Ripple's most prominent legal advocates, laid out a timeline that deserves serious attention. So here we go over to part 4. So if you have enjoyed watching the video, I'll leave the link to part 4 up here. The playlist will be up here. The newsletter will be down here. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Okay, we're going to move on to part 4 now. I'm pretty sure I might be getting these wrong. Are we part 4? I think we're part 4 now. Okay, let's go back to here. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are now on part 4 of the Epstein files and its relationship with the war on Ripple and the revealing of Satoshi Nakamoto. Please do go check out the full playlist. It's the first link in the description. But now we're going directly to Gary Gensler and his war on Ripple. Was it all stemming from Jeffrey Epstein? The Gensler connection, MIT, Ito, and the man who sued Ripple. Within hours of the Epstein files dropping, one post cut through the noise and connected the dot that stopped the XRP community cold. Crypto Law, the account run by attorney John Deaton. We know who John Deaton is. He was a massive advocate when the XRP case was going on. We love John Deaton. One of the Ripple's most prominent legal advocates, laid out a timeline that deserves serious attention. So what did he put out? He reacted to this post from David Schwartz, where David Schwartz said, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is just a tip of a giant iceberg. This is in relation to a file that was just released from an email to Jeffrey Epstein. The title saying stellar is not so stellar. And in the email, they're saying that Ripple and Jed's new Stellar are bad for the ecosystem we are building, and it does our company damage to have investors who are backing 2 horses in the same race. So that was in regards to a Bitcoin company, one of the initial Bitcoin companies, and this email was sent saying we need to basically crush Ripple and Stellar. We don't like them. So here is what Crypto Law said. He said that given Gary Gensler entered the picture at the Epstein-funded Media Lab hired by Ito a short time later and took over the SEC government in 2021 and tried to, failed, to annex XRP, it is fair to wonder what this is all about. So, in 2018, Gary Gensler joined MIT's Media Lab as a senior advisor to director John Ito. You see, all these names are now really spinning around and they're all coming together. Despite no background in blockchain technology, he advised the lab on its digital currency initiative. Read that timeline carefully. Joe Ito, the same man who received Austin Hill's 2014 email lobbying against Ripple, the same man who accepted and concealed Epstein's funding at MIT, hired Gary Gensler. He's the one who hired Gary Gensler as a senior advisor to Media Lab in 2018. This draws so many questions. Let's just read that again. So this is John Ito. He's the man who received Austin Hill's 2014 email lobbying against Ripple. He's the one who just wants to get rid of Ripple, Stellar. He was lobbying against it. Big Bitcoin guy. He was the same person that took money from Jeffrey Epstein, who concealed Epstein's funding at MIT. He hired Gary Gensler as a senior advisor to Media Lab in 2018. Gensler advised the lab's digital currency initiative, the same program funded by Epstein's money, and then 3 years later, he became the SEC chair and launched the most aggressive enforcement action against a single crypto project in history, the lawsuit against Ripple, the unjustified lawsuit against Ripple. But it gets worse. Buried deeper in the Epstein files is an email chain that places Gensler directly in Epstein's crosshairs. In May 2018, exchange between Epstein and former US Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers. Epstein wrote, Gary Gensler coming earlier. Don't know him, wants to talk digital currencies. Views? Summer replied, I know Gary, worked for me at TRSY in 1990s. Partner before that, pretty smart. There's the email evidence right there. You can see the full trail on the newsletter. First link in the description. Currently, we're running a 20% off offer. You can get the full newsletter for free as well. If you want all the perks and benefits of the newsletter, the full daily briefing 2 hours before the opening bell, the full stories, the deep dives, the charts of the day, the chart training course, the budget planner, debt planner, the one-on-one DMs, the community threads, the £5,000 portfolio challenge that we're starting as a journal, the chart training course, it's all 25% off. First link in the description. So let's go back to the story. Let that register. In May 2018, the same Gary Gensler who was hired at IoT's MIT Media Lab, Epstein was personally asking about him by name, specifically in relation to digital currencies. Epstein was vetting Gensler through one of the most powerful financial figures in Washington. The subject line of the email chain was, do not share, do not quote. This doesn't prove Epstein directed Gary Gensler to target Ripple, but it shatters any claim that Gensler existed outside Epstein's orbit. The man who would go on to wage war against XRP was being discussed by name in the context of digital currencies in private emails between a convicted sex offender and a former Treasury Secretary. As Deaton put it, it is fair to wonder what this is all about. The XRP community has spent 5 years asking why the SEC singled out Ripple while giving Bitcoin a free pass. Remember, there's a whole free pass documents that we've been trying to discover, but it's been held back by courts. All the free passes for Bitcoin, the free pass for Ethereum, and why they went after Ripple. That's all part of the equation as well. So the XRP community has spent 5 years asking, why the hell did the SEC go straight after Ripple only and gave Bitcoin a free pass, gave Ethereum a free pass? These files don't answer that question, but they reveal the ecosystem that produced the man who made the call, Mr. Gary Gensler. So, what is this all about? Step back from the individual claims and look at the full picture the Epstein files paint about cryptocurrency. Epstein was embedded in crypto from the beginning. The documents show his interest in Bitcoin dating back to 2011, with direct outreach to early developers. By 2013, he was briefed on Bitcoin's expansion into emerging markets. By 2014, he received competitive intelligence emails from the CEO of Bitcoin's most important infrastructure company. Whatever Epstein's role was, he wasn't a passive observer. The anti XRP campaign was real. The Hill email is documentary evidence that Bitcoin aligned figures actively pressured powerful investors to abandon Ripple and Stellar. Schwartz himself believes that this is widespread. This wasn't market competition, it was a coordinated effort to weaponize investor relations against rival projects. The people involved weren't marginal. Reid Hoffman, Joy Ito, Peter Thiel, whose Valar's Ventures accepted 40 million from Epstein. Steve Bannon, who exchanges hundreds of texts with Epstein. These are the people who shaped policy, funded companies, and influenced the regulatory environment. Their proximity to both Epstein and Bitcoin's ecosystem raises uncomfortable questions about how much crypto regulatory landscapes was shaped by power and connections rather than policy analysis. Ripple itself has no documented ties to Epstein. This needs to be stated clearly. No credible source has found any evidence that Ripple executives met with Epstein, that Epstein funded Ripple, or that Ripple was involved in any Epstein-related misconduct. Other Bitcoin was, Ripple wasn't, and people are trying to paint the wrong narrative. Major outlets, CoinDesk, The Block, Reuters, AP, Associated Press, CNN have not reported Ripple Epstein connections because there are none to report. So stop trying to run with that story. Schwartz denied any connection directly, and the email that started the file storm actually shows Ripple being attacked by Epstein's circle, not embraced by it. So, what does this mean for XRP? Despite the noise, it was treated as more of a non-event. There was low liquidity on the weekend. The market's in a bear market. We've covered this. So the fundamentals for XRP haven't really changed. In fact, high net worth individuals keep accumulating. 42 new millionaire wallets holding 1 million plus XRP have appeared since the start of 2026. So long-term ownership is going up. The real risk isn't Epstein headlines, it's whether on-chain adoption improves. That's for XRP. So XRP is not really being affected by this right now. So what happened to everyone else in the files? If you want to understand how serious the documents are, look at what happens to the people that were actually named in them, and then notice what didn't happen to Ripple. You can look at Slovakia's national security advisor. You can look at Musk. You can look at this, but those are real consequences. You can see what happened to all of them. Those are real consequences for real connections. Now compare it to Ripple. No Ripple executive was named. No financial relationship was discovered. No regulatory action was triggered. No credible journalist found anything to report. The contrast doesn't just clear Ripple, it highlights how manufactured the social media panic, mostly by Bitcoin maxis. Bitcoin maxis went on a spree on X trying to bring Ripple into this, but all it is evidence against Bitcoin, evidence against the founders, evidence to show that they tried to suppress XRP and Ripple. There are questions that still remain, and we hope to get answers for these. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Maybe more files will get released. Who knows? The Epstein's files didn't give us one smoking gun. They gave us something more unsettling, a window into web of money, influence, and power that surrounded cryptocurrency from its earliest days. The questions these documents raised aren't easily answered. They deserve to be asked. How early was Epstein's involved in Bitcoin's development, and how deep did that involvement go? Was that campaign to undermine XRP and Stellar limited to investor pressure, or did it extend to the SEC? Why did the SEC pursue Ripple so aggressively while leaving Bitcoin largely untouched? And was that the policy decision or an outcome influenced by the networks the Ripple Epstein files reveal? And the story may not be over. What else is in the remaining 2.5 million pages the DOJ has not released yet? The DOJ identified over 6 million potential responsive pages, but has only released approximately 3.5 million. People are not happy about it. People want more. There's still 2.5 million pages still in the vault. If more documents surface showing how far the anti-Ripple pressure campaign extended or where else Epstein's money flowed, within Bitcoin's ecosystem, the question raised by the first batch will only get louder. As Schwartz himself said when he posted the email, I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is just the tip of a giant iceberg. For now, the facts are clear. Ripple had no Epstein connection. Bitcoin's inner circle did. And the people who tried to kill XRP in 2014 were sending their pitch to a convicted sex offender's inbox. Make of that what you will. If you haven't watched the full series, I'll put the playlist over here. I'll put part 1 over here. Go check out the newsletter. Go support the newsletter so we can do more work like this and go get all the perks and benefits. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Guys, what do you think about that? Oh my God. When I was writing this story, when I was researching this story and the links just kept linking, I was surprised. I was sort of shaking when I was discovering the story and putting them all together. This is crazy. Unlike anything I ever sort of thought. When I used to cover the SEC story, I thought that was crazy when we were finding emails, when we were looking at the free passes, all of that was crazy. This is just unprecedented. This is showing a major suppression. This is crazy. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me see what I've missed. They can slow it down, but it will never stop. Yeah, they couldn't stop it, could they? This is huge, man. Yeah. Thank you for all your work, Sensei. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Josh Momo says, wow. Lou, can you speak up about your coin? Can someone defend the Epstein coin? Andy RX says, I can't believe what I'm hearing. To Lou, exactly. This is crazy. Lou, slow. XRP going to smash your boy. He's just a troll, just saying XRP is going to pass the moon to the bars. Wonder why we've been so tied up in lawsuits. Questions are asked, right? If this is not enough, Bitcoin was not some special gift to the world. It was first seen in a silly game called Buzzacoid. I've seen it firsthand. Was then exploded around the world. Power and greed. I'm down 15k. So sorry to hear that. Ricardo says, I guess as long as your portfolios are green, high energy investment says XRP is not going to the moon. XRP is buying the moon. Alan says you're down means nothing. It's called DCA. Craig says it's not what you know, it's who you know, and you have to be corrupted. Slim Jim says, yes, Martin. Nick says, Lou, we are waiting for the landing. A Gambler says, Bitcoin is tethered to pretty much every altcoin, including XRP. When Bitcoin explodes, so does 8-9. Yeah, we don't disagree with that. But that's not the point of the story today, is it? Martin Investor says, I'm building a position of XRP up to 100,000. We wish Martin the best of luck. Andy says, Lou, open that wallet and get shot off that crap. Slim Jim says, Bitcoin has seen better days. Guys, this was a crazy story, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Let's see if we can do something fun for it. Let's scrap that 25% that people are going to get when they watch the video. You guys have supported me through the live. Let me see if I can do. Let me see if I can create something better right now. New offer. 50. Let's just do 50%. I was going to do 30. I was going to do 40. We're going to do 50. But we're going to limit it. Let's just do 3 people. 3 people. 50% off first. Yeah. Okay, let me put the limit on 50% off first 12 months. Should we put, I don't want to put the extra thing as Epstein. Should we call it the Epstein? No, I don't want to call it that. The Epstein coupon there. Let's call it journalism. Journalism. Great. Guys, if you want to support the work and because you guys enjoyed it, I'm going to give you a 50% off link. But it's only for the people that are watching this live stream and it's only for the first 3 people. So I'm going to release it. Actually, I'm not going to give it to you yet. I'll put a timer on the screen. Let's put a timer. I'll give it to you in a second. So I want people to get ready for the ones that really want it. Let's go. God. It's the 2nd of February now. That's crazy. I'm going to read all your comments in a second. I'm just trying to sort this out. Okay, that's the timer. In 3 minutes' time, I'm going to release that code. And then it's the first 3 people only. Guys, that was a crazy story. I'm sure more will come out, but when I was writing out all day I was writing that story. And I also did the XRP weekly. I mean, I've been on it all day. It's 2 a.m. now here in the UK. Guys, what do you think about that story? Is it the craziest story you've heard? It all makes sense now how Gary was all bent to hold XRP down. It all makes sense now, says David Hensley. Hello, Sensei and Lucas family. This is and will always be a win. Glad to see you here. Sandra says, Sensei, is Lucas is doing a baby shower for your wife? That's a great idea, isn't it, Sandra? Should Martyn host the baby shower? DJ Haynes says, just wait until Bloomberg and Financial Times get a grip on the story. Yeah, how are they going to play it? High energy investments. Gary just tweeted his butt is hurt. That XRP will go under. Andy says this is golden news for XRP. It's terrible news for Bitcoin, isn't it? Paul says, watch the digital asset investor to learn more about untold Bitcoin stories. A Gambler says Solana will go under 102. Yes, for a month. A Gambler says Solana is the worst. It's inflationary. Let me read all these comments. Where were we? If you can't hold it for a month, what's happening? Joey says it's all going down. Get those dollars ready to deploy and let's make some life-changing money. Amazing story. Thank you, Yolanda. Great stuff, Sensei. Thank you, High Energy Investments. Hungover Stats, you did a great job on the story. Thank you, Hungover Star. Guys, you need to go read the story again as well. There's a lot. If you read it a few times, it gets even more crazy every time. When you start linking all the people together, oh my God. Craig Palmer, you covered the story great. I was enjoying it. Thank you so much, Craig Palmer. Karen says, wow, this is crazy. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Karen. Wow, you guys are so supportive. David Hensley says, love the story. Thanks, Sensei. Jeremy says, unfortunately, nothing will come out of this, but thank you. Well, we can live in a world where we always think negative, or we can think we live in a world where there's going to be justice. If there's not justice in this world, there'll be in the next world, but hopefully we get it in this world as well. Dollar Reston says, so let a dead man control XRP. Insane, Glenn Page. A Gambler, well, deflationary metrics, it's crazy, says. Yes, lovely to have you here on the show. Wow, it's late, isn't it? What are you doing up? User says, thank you for your work. No Hype says, Bitcoin Cash, the real deal. I don't know about that. David Hensley says, good job, Sensei. Slim Jib says, to sell one to be a fool. You did an amazing job on the story. Okay, I'm actually going to push this back a couple minutes. And this countdown is when I'm going to release. It's only the first 3 people. Wow, and maybe why Ripple is so confident. XRP, XLM, HBAR, and Bitcoin Cash, my bags only. Zcash, but the SEC doesn't like it. Dash is built for Zcash. I mean, they're with the SEC, and there's a historian of Zcash. I mean, that's put me off Zcash when it gets linked to Epstein. No Hype, probably going to add Dash. Miguel says this is the beginning of the fall of Bitcoin. Joey Note says silver is up, Sensei. Oh, brilliant. God, thank God for that. Oh, no, it's not up that much. It was up earlier more. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's all about who you know, says Terry Rose. Slim Jib says Martyn's got better wellness company. No surprise here. Salute the No Hype says I knew this in October and sold my Bitcoin. How did you know things? I mean, you obviously didn't know what was directly in the Epstein files. Thanks for your time. I mean, we've been bearish on Bitcoin. I mean, for holding a long term, I don't mind holding a little bit of Bitcoin, but this backs up the argument of Bitcoin versus gold. I'll certainly choose gold. Sandra John says, thanks a million, Sensei, for doing this. Send it. Great live information. Thank you, Sensei. No worries. Craig Palmer says, I want to join the silver membership, but my card will not accept the payment for some reason. Sorry, Craig. I don't know how to help you there. Better Wellness Company, discount option. Go XLM, go XRP. Sensei is one of the goats, super transparent. Thank you so much, Alan. Really appreciate it. Play the Phoenix. Through play the Phoenix and celebrate. That's a good idea, Slim Jim. Your option. Well, let's play the Phoenix. It feels great to get the information out.
Birds and people are living
it feels great to get the information out.
Until one day, a young man catches fire.
Yes, sir. Love the XRP army. How are you all? Weirdos can never contradiction. Satoshi already disappeared from the scene in 2011, a public meeting. Please read the article carefully, it answers that question. How do you think all this information will affect the crypto market? Probably over time, Bitcoin's going to lose credibility and XRP is going to gain it. Don't read this first blood. That would be great. Don't make me vomit talking about Bitcoin. I'm going to cover this story as well in my own way. We look forward to market coverage. Guys, I'm going to put Phoenix on, but in 15 seconds, we're releasing the 50% code for 3 people only. So what do you get? You get all these perks and benefits, daily stories like this, but the daily news, the 5 things you need to know, the deep dives, the charts of the day. Now we've just released, and tomorrow is going to be our first day, or today here in the UK, where we have the first buy in the portfolio challenge. We're going to do a £5,000 challenge in ISA here in the UK, but I'm going to be sharing with you all my research, all my thoughts. You're going to get full access to that. The full playbook is going to be released. You get full access to that. You get full access to one-on-one DMs. You get full access to the private community. You get full access to the budget plan, debt plan. You get full access to a training course. All of that, and I'm going to give you the code now. And then we're also going to put a timer for when it ends. So let's put a timer for when it ends. We'll give you guys 5 minutes. But I think the 3 are going to get sold out in a second. So here we go. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Here is the code. You click on that. You press it. As soon as you press it, you'll go over to a page. You type your email in, and then you choose the plan. The annual plan is the one you get 50% off on. So go and get it while it lasts. 3 people, 50% off. We don't do offers like this normally, but I thought let's celebrate the day of the XRP journalism. And the story, what a crazy story. I had sort of what's called goosebumps when I was writing it. I had second thoughts about bringing it to the world as well, just because of the crazy story and the people involved. So 5 minutes left to get it. The first 3 people, I'll keep you updated on how many are left as well. So go and grab it while you can. 50% off right now. 4 minutes left. First 3 people. If you want to support the work, if you enjoyed it, if you want all the perks and benefits, go and grab the newsletter for 50% off right now. That's all the perks on the screen. We love it, Sensei. Sensei for President. Thank you, Sammy. Ricardo, nice. Great stuff. Terry Rose, February the 1st, fun. February the 2nd now. Newsletter going to be number 1 next week, says Andy. Thank you, Andy. Really appreciate it.
Fire burn, a thirst and desire. You transform it up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Guys, 50% offer is in the chat right now. We've got 3 minutes.
A thirst and desire. You transform it up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Do you need a laptop? Yeah, no, you can see it on the phone. Guys, XRP is rising on the news as well. Let's see if 158 holds. That's where we bought. If you're part of the newsletter community, you got all of these as well. Let me show you some of the things you get in the private community. We had the first entry of the £5,000 challenge, the full framework. I told you where I bought gold and silver. I told you about the altcoins I was buying. I told you about the charts. The Bitcoin short went exactly as predicted. You've got all my buys there and all the thoughts as well. Yes, so you can see all of it. Martyn Smash. Yes, Maurice, I saw. Yeah, so you get access to the private community and the one-on-one DMs. 2 minutes left. Let me see. Here is the link for the 50% off. First 3 people. It ends in 2 minutes. Let's see if anyone's taking advantage of it. No, no one has. If you want to support the work, then go and check it out. If you want to, David Hensley, this link you've just put in the chat right now, this one here. David Hensley, I'm speaking to you right now because you keep doing the same mistake. Yes, good. You did it right. There we go. Don't do that one. No, oh, you don't have to delete all of them. It was just that one. You keep putting in the wrong link. We love what you do, but I just thought give you a little tip on which one's the wrong link. But yeah, 50% off. If you guys want to support it, no one has taken advantage of it right now. Oh, someone has. Someone has. There's 2 left now in 1 minute and 50 seconds. If you want to support the work and get all those perks, you can get it 50%. It's only for this end of the live stream for the live viewers. So go and check it out. There's the link in the live chat right now. Let's have a quick look at the markets. The S&P 500 is still down 0.5%. XRP is recovering on the day. Gold and silver are trying to bounce back from their Friday. Guys, look at this. This is something we released in the newsletter as well. The resistance for silver was 120, the last target. And from that point, in 3 days, silver dropped 40%. And where did it drop to? Well, exactly our buy on silver at $75. I mean, it's crazy. Some people say charts don't work. We like charts. Gold is down more than silver currently, so that's very interesting. The S&P 500 is down, Bitcoin's up slightly, XRP's up more, and Ethereum's up more as well. Oil has taken a hit, which is probably a good thing, meaning there's probably no war ahead for us right now. Yeah, no, David Hensley, I want to explain something. I understand, but go on to wherever you've got your links. Let's try and get this sorted now. Wherever you got your links, the one you write where it says all of Martyn links and the newsletter sign up, and then you put Martyn Lucas Investor /links. That is the wrong way to promote the newsletter because that goes to a out of date newsletter. We don't want people getting confused. So you can say all links here, but remove the text where you say and get the newsletter because that's what's wrong. Thanks for your work, Sensei. Thank you very much. I think there's 2 spots left. If you guys want to take advantage, should we give it an extra minute? I think we should give it an extra minute. I don't want to close off the discount before some. We'll do it on the hour. Let's do it on the hour. There we go. You guys can still get 50% off if you're watching live. It's limited to 3 people. There's only 2 spots left. Let me check here. Oh, there's only 1 spot left. Only 1 spot left. Oh, okay. Yeah. David Hensley, now you get it. Are you going to buy for the challenge tomorrow? Yeah, I am. A gambler, we should always root for Bitcoin since most of the money from alts came out of selling Bitcoin. Don't think Bitcoin is needed, but we should always respect Bitcoin. But yeah, I see, my bad. No worries, David, you've got it now. And that's what I've been trying to explain to you. Oh God, it's 2 a.m. here in the UK. I need to go to bed. Good night all, says Craig Palmer. Yep, I don't blame you, Craig Palmer. It is late here. Guys, I'm still trying to recover from that story. I'm going to go read it myself again. There might be more things coming out. If it's big updates, I'll put it out as a newsletter. If it's smaller updates, I'll put it in the live community, in the chat, in the private community. But yeah, here are the people. What a horrible guy in the middle. What a horrible guy to the right, but I guess he's not as bad as the guy in the middle. Thanks for all you do, David. Yes, thank you, David. Really appreciate all the work you do as a moderator. Okay. There is the link for the 50% off. There's 1 spot left if you want to grab the newsletter. What I'm going to do is put those videos out as a 4-part series. So guys, if you do see the 4-part series as well, please make sure you hit a like. Let them play in the background as well. It will really help as well. Bitcoin was used over Silk Web. Unfortunately, it has dark web past. Here are the people in the neighborhood in your neighborhood. Let's put on Phoenix one last time.
The year is
And then we'll end the show and be
1991.
back
Birds
in the
and
morning.
people are living together in seemingly
In the
perfect harmony until one day a young man catches fire.
David Hensley, we love you.
This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in.
There's 1 spot left for 50% off on the newsletter. If you guys don't want to sign up to the premium, there is also a free plan. Go check it out. 1 minute left.
Desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Get you down,
30 seconds left if anyone wants to take advantage of the last spot. It's a very quiet show now. It's very late. Otherwise, in a normal show, it would go up. But I want to give back to the ones who are staying with me at these late hours. So last chance.
Ruthlessness prevail. Over time now, like surefire for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
There it is. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll see you all in the morning with the morning forecast show alongside the morning forecast newsletter. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Yeah, what else would I say? The last thing I'll say, we also had the XRP weekly come out today, full of stories as well. You had my whole chart in the XRP weekly with the top 3 stories. If I can give everyone a link as well, this is the link for directly the XRP weekly newsletter that came out today as well. It's our only XRP newsletter. People are trying to copy it now. But it was the first XRP weekly newsletter. Go and click on it. And then halfway down or in the first quarter of the newsletter, there's a poll. How bullish are you feeling about XRP this week? Go and vote in it. Leave a like on the newsletter as well. You can leave a comment as well if you like, but go check it out. Thank you, guys. What do I leave you with? Where are we going? Where's the stream ending up? I think I've redirected it back to part 1. Yes, we'll go back to part 1. Take care of yourselves and each other. As you said, Terry Rose. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Paul Man to Richman. See you all guys tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.